Yo, what's happening? I realized that I should have done this sooner, and that is make a video explaining how to play my game and what my game really is. So, the game is called DXStrikers, and it is basically a sports themed game where you use dice and cards to score points on your opponents, right? Whenever an opponent has 7 points scored on them, that player is out, right? And it's supposed to be a game that is meant to be played with multiple people. So you can have 3 players, 4 players, 2 players, however many that you want to play. In theory, should be able to take turns and play this game out because you're scoring points on your opponent, right? This game is still in the testing beta stage. I am still working out the proof of concept that the mechanics that I am coming up with, creating for this game, actually work in real time. And in order to do that, in order to test these mechanics, I have created, a test simulation, you can call it, that I run, and I want to share with people, my thought process on how I'm coming up with stuff for the game. So here you guys go. If you don't mind, I'm going to show you some of the cards that I've created so far. So you see here we have Turtle Knight, and you see a bunch of text on the screen here for all these characters, all these cards. For the most part, the text that you see on the card is as close as the finished product as I can get it right now. However, of course, as we go into development, there's going to be a lot of changes. Like as you see, all the cards here have this same first line that says Demon Lord. A lot of this is first line text is how do you want to say, flavor text typically. There are going to be more powerful cards. As you see here, there are levels. That's what this is. If you can't read any of this, I'm going to explain it as we go along. But along the top here, you're going to see what level each card is for the most part. These level 2s are pretty, see here, there's a level 3. But for the most part, they're pretty weak cards. So this top row is going to have flavor text associated with it. This bottom row is going to be an effect. The way that the final product game is ran, there's going to be a front row and a back row and a cost to summon each one of these characters, depending if you want to play it in the front row and the back row, and they more than likely have different purposes for being in the front or the back row. One major thing for being in the back row is the effect on each monster. Whenever they're played in the back row, they have access to their effects. Typically, the monsters in the front row, with one special exception, do not have access to an effect in the front row. However, they do have access to their attack and defense points, right? So, how do you score points on your opponent? You beat their defense point for their goalie. Now, in the main game, the goalie, like I said, is going to be the person that you score points again. This video is going to be mainly trying to focus on the sample game that I have been developing just to test individual cards and matchups and how they go, right? But again, just for posterity's purposes, when you're playing the game, there's going to be, again, 2 rows like this. But they're going to be 3 in each position, right? So imagine this was in either of these. The front middle position would be your goalie. This character would have access to their effects. As we were talking about, scoring a point on this card does not make this card disappear. However, if you were to attack either of these and hit their defense number, instead of getting a point, you would take it off the board. Now, the game that I've created for testing, Instead of doing first to 7, each individual card gets hit 3 times in order to be disqualified. So, how are we playing? I am going to take 3 cards at random, and I should try. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to before my screen looked a little different, and now I can't seem to get it to show me what I was looking at before, because before, right, maybe this is maybe a little bit better for me. If I could just make it a little bit bigger. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, this might be a little bit better for us. Okay, so we're going to take these 4 cards and put them up against each other. So I'm just going to say that my Cybernetic Delinquent is going to attack Lucky Coin. Cybernetic Delinquent has a D3 for its attack, as well as a 15. These cards both have the same defense points and attack points, but they have different effects. This Delinquent's effect says, I'm sorry, excuse me, you guys. Delinquent's effect is re-roll your dice a maximum number of 3 times. Subtract 1 dice for each time you re-roll. Lucky Coin has the effect odds. Destroy an enemy monster on the field. Even. Goalie deals critical hit. Okay, in this game, since there's no goalie, that means this card is going to roll a critical hit if it hits an even number. However, if it hits an odd number, it's just going to destroy its target opponent. Going first is going to be the Cybernetic Delinquent. It's going to attack. Whoop. So that's a 2, a 5, and a 3. So that is only 10. So with only 10, he does not hit. However, Cybernetic Delinquent can add another 3 to this 10 roll. So that means that it's actually going to be like an 8. A 13. It still does not hit. If we were to activate its effect, Cybernetic Delinquent has the effect to do a reroll with only 2 dice. It still didn't hit. With only 1 dice, it still didn't hit. Which I'm trying to keep the dice on screen for you. Next is going to be the Lucky Coin's turn to attack. And again, Lucky Coin has a special ability where if it hits an odd number, it can destroy Cybernetic Delinquent in 1 hit. Let's see what happens. 4 plus 4 is 8. Plus 5 is 13. What are the chances? 13 is in fact an odd number. So because of this, we can just go ahead and use that 13 to destroy Cybernetic Delinquent. This card is no longer in the game. He just gets ringed out. Next is the Leprechaun. The Leprechaun has the attack of 2d4. That means when I roll, I can add 2d4, which would be for a total of 8, to its roll. Or I can also use its defense. Well, it has a defense points of straight up 22. Okay. And it is actually going to attack the Lucky Coin, because me coins. Now, the Leprechaun actually has the ability to grab any D4, 3, or 2 that's been rolled. So if we look here, if we were paying more attention, we could see that there was 2 D4s rolled here. So the Leprechaun actually could have grabbed this. It still would have been an odd number. So the results are the same. However, like we said, let's try and roll for a 15. So you're gonna say that's a 7 and a 1. So that's a 8 plus 8 is actually 16. So the leprechaun hits without using his special ability. Now I will also note here that in the main game, the level has many effects. One being that you get a reroll for every level that you have plus 1. See, we start at 0, so 0 gets its initial roll. Starting at level 1, you get 1 reroll. Level 2, you get 2 rerolls for every attack, you know? So, as you just saw, the leprechaun hit basically with its special attack points. But say you didn't want to use your special attack points, say you wanted to just straight up roll. Well, you actually have 4 rolls in order to make your number, for whatever reason. Um, this is something we're going to try and balance the game around going forward. It's really hard because you want to make the attack power of the cards higher and higher as you go on, but you also gain the advantage as they go on of having multiple rerolls. So just figuring that out is as a challenge that this project, this simulation is trying to foresee stuff like this, right? But I hope this gives some insight on how to play. Thanks for your fucking interest and joy, dude. I love you guys.